What never fails to make you tear up or cry? My late partner passed away from leukemia at 38 years old. He hid a letter from me in our room in case he didn't make it. It's the most beautiful and eloquent thing I've ever read. He talks about regretting not being able to see my hair turn gray, or seeing me accomplish my dreams. He gives me permission to fall in love again, be messy, and move forward. The level of support is so encouraging. It's also a heartbreaking read and I've only read it 3 times. I will read it again on the 2-year date of his passing at the end of this month. One particular patient I had working in a trauma center. 19-year-old girl I'd never seen before, and didn't know at all. She was ejected from a vehicle and then crushed because her boyfriend was trying to show off. I was training new staff, and they were at the end of their training, so I was only in the room to provide supervision and step in if necessary, and I spent the entire trauma holding her hand, on her request, and trying to comfort her and keep her mind off of the injuries to both of her legs. Her last words were spoken directly to me, "This really hurts. Can I go to sleep?" I cried for days after. I've never had a patient's death hit me as hard before or after. I'm so glad you were there to comfort her in her final moments. It's an often overlooked duty that many medical staff, from paramedics to nurses to doctors and more, perform. Also, in my opinion, one of the most important. Sometimes, you just can't save someone, but making their last moments as warm and comfortable as possible is one of the greatest acts of humanity one can perform. Thank you, on behalf of that young lady, and her family, for being there that day and making her final moments at least a little easier on her. Agree 100%. The nurses who did palliative care for my mom were angels. I have nothing but respect for people who can do that kind of work. I could never. That makes me want to know how her boyfriend felt/reacted and what consequences he faced. She only died because of his recklessness. That must have been tough to deal with. I don't know if this will give you comfort. When I had a spontaneous heart attack, I was 22 and terrified in a foreign country with parents who don't have passports. A kind nurse realized I was losing it despite cracking jokes and keeping a brave face on, and stopped what she was doing, had someone take over, and just held my hand and explained everything that was happening to and around me. She prioritized keeping me from being completely traumatized, from being overwhelmed and scared, and I credit her with why I can go back to hospitals and doctors today. You brought her an indescribable amount of comfort in the scariest moments of her life because you wore your heart on your sleeve, and I am thankful for people like you in that profession. You are a brave, good soul. Child abuse statements. I always feel so compelled to read them. All statements of abuse, of documentaries or whatever. It makes me cry and suffer, but at the same time, I feel like I owe it to the people who were brave enough to open up like that. Like, I'm in some way telling them that I hear them, and believe them, love them and remember them. I work with child abuse victims. I had a 6-year-old want to disclose sex abuse by her dad one day. Her reason for disclosing that day: it's my birthday and I wanted to do something for me on my birthday. That killed me. The ending monologue of movie The Shawshank Redemption. I find I'm so excited I can barely sit still or hold a thought in my head. I think it's the excitement only a free man can feel, a free man at the start of a long journey whose conclusion is uncertain. I hope I can make it across the border. I hope to see my friend and shake his hand. I hope the Pacific is as blue as it has been in my dreams. I hope. Had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong. Loved his character arc. From being confident in his choice, then uncertainty, then full regret, till he makes the decision to right his wrongs. Damn, I can't wait for the remaster.